The Brentwood real estate market just had one of the most interesting months in a while. And if you're thinking about buying or selling here, the numbers are telling a story you need to hear. I'm going to break it all down today. What sold, what it sold for, how fast it moved, and most importantly, what it actually means for you. But real quick, before we dive in, if you're watching this because Brentwood is on your radar, whether you're relocating, upsizing, downsizing, or just trying to figure out your timing, I work in this market every single day, and I'd love to be a resource for you. There's a link in the description to connect with me, no pressure, just a conversation. Okay, let's get into the numbers. So here's the lay of the land for Brentwood in May of 2026. We had a solid month of closings, and the profile of what's selling paints a really clear picture of who's buying here. The typical home that closed this month was right around 4,300 square feet, 4 bedrooms, 4 full baths, and a half bath. These are substantial family homes built on an average around 1998. So you've got a mix of established properties in mature neighborhoods alongside some more recently updated or renovated homes. Brentwood has always attracted a very specific buyer, somebody who wants the best schools in Williamson County, a community feel, and the kind of home that has a real long-term value. That hasn't changed. What I want to walk you through today is how the market conditions around that buyer have shifted from last month and from this time last year. One thing that stands out right away is the size of homes that have sold. April was a big month for larger homes. The average square footage was close to 4,700 square feet. May pulled back to around 4,300. Both months are solidifying the 4-bedroom, 4-bath range, so the profile of that buyer hasn't changed. We just saw slightly more mid-range Brentwood homes trade hands in May versus some of the really large estate style properties that closed in April. Now, let's talk price. And here's where I want you to pay attention to the difference between the average and the median, because they tell two different stories this month. The average sales price dropped from about $2 million in April to around $1.7 million in May. That sounds significant, but look at the median. The median actually went up slightly from 1.45 to 1.5. That tells you the middle of the market is healthy and actually appreciating. What pulled the average down is simply that April had a handful of very large, very high price sales that inflated the number. The typical buyer is seeing prices hold firm, not drop. Price per square foot followed the same pattern. April's big transactions drove that number up. In May, you're looking at around $377 per square foot on an average, $366 at the median. For context, that's what it costs to be in Brentwood right now. Compare that to Fairview at around $258 per square foot, or even Franklin, which is generally in that $300 to $350 range. Brentwood commands a premium and it consistently holds. So the days on market is fascinating. In April, the median home went under contract in 3 days. May, it came in at 6 days, which honestly is still incredibly fast. This is a market where if you tour a home on Saturday and you love it, you need to be ready to write an offer that same weekend. Waiting until Monday to think it over is a real risk. The homes that are well priced and well presented in Brentwood are not sitting. Sellers in May actually got closer to their asking price than in April, essentially dollar for dollar. A sale to list ratio of nearly 100% means buyers are not negotiating sellers down. The market respects the pricing, and when a home is listed correctly, it closes at or right at that number. That's a really strong signal for anyone thinking about selling. Now, let's compare to where we were exactly 1 year ago, because this is the context that really matters if you're making a long-term real estate decision. First, volume. The number of closings is nearly identical year over year. Brentwood isn't suddenly flooded with inventory, and it isn't drying up. It's steady, and for a market at this price point, steady volume is actually a sign of strength. There's consistent, reliable demand. The average square footage is almost identical year over year and right around 4,300 square feet, 4 bedrooms, 4 baths, same buyer profile, same type of home. What's changed is the price. A year ago, average homes sold for around 1.6. This May, it's closer to 1.7, and the median jumped from 1.29 to 1.5. That's real appreciation, not a fluke, not a spike driven by one outlier sale. The market broadly moved up. Price per square foot is the real story here, because price per square foot, buyers paid about $354 last May. This May they're paying $377. That's roughly 6.5% increase in what Brentwood real estate costs on a per foot square basis in 12 months. For homeowners, that's equity growth. For buyers who are waiting on the sidelines hoping prices would come down, they didn't. They went in the other direction. A year ago, the typical home was going under contract in 9 days. Today it's 6. The market has gotten faster, not slower. More competition among buyers, less time to deliberate. If the trend holds, waiting another year hoping for breathing room may not be the strategy it seems like on paper. So here's the honest truth for buyers. Brentwood is not a market you can ease into. With homes going under contract in less than a week at essentially full asking price, you have very little margin for error. That means before you ever walk into a home you love, your financing needs to be completely sorted. You need to know your non-negotiables, and you need an agent who can move fast and write a clean, competitive offer. The other thing I'd want you to sit with is this year-over-year data. Prices are up, speed is up. Buyers who passed on homes 12 months ago at 1.3 million are now looking at the same product at 1.5 million. That's the cost of waiting in this market. If Brentwood fits your life and your budget, the data isn't giving you a compelling reason to hold off. And remember what you're buying into. Schools that are consistently ranked among the best in Tennessee, established neighborhoods that hold their value, and a community that continues to attract high quality residents. The fundamentals here are strong as anywhere in Middle Tennessee. For sellers, the story is really encouraging. Values are higher than they were a year ago. Homes are moving faster, and buyers are paying essentially full ask when the home is priced correctly. If you've owned your Brentwood home for a few years, your equity position right now is probably stronger than you realize. The word I emphasize for sellers is execution. At this price point, we're talking about homes in the 1.5 to 2 million range. Buyers are discerning. They've seen a lot of homes. They know when they see something priced wrong or presented poorly. The listings that are sitting right now almost always have one of two problems. They're overpriced, or they didn't invest in professional photography, staging, or presentation. Get those things right, price strategically based on what's actually sold, not what you wish it was worth, and Brentwood's demand will do the rest. You should be looking at a fast, clean sale at a number you're very happy with. That's your Brentwood market update for May 2026. Whether you're actively looking to make a move or you're just keeping tabs on what your home is worth and where the market is headed, I hope this gave you a clear, honest picture of what's actually happening out there. If these monthly updates are helpful, hit the subscribe button. I put out fresh data every single month. And if you're ready to have a real conversation about your specific situation, reach out. The link in the description connects you directly with me. I know this market deeply. I'd love to help. Make the right move at the right time. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.